This conference will now be recorded.
So thank you for joining today's presentation brought to you by Dropbox and Storage Guardian, where we're going to discuss the 6 file server migration best practice tips. In a moment, I'm going to pass you over to the CEO and founder of Storage Guardian. But just to tell you, as I mentioned, we're recording this, so we will share it with you afterwards. Also, if you have questions during the presentation, if you want to message me, Jerry O'Brien, you can send it to me. At the end, we will answer those questions, and we can take them unmuted at that stage. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Omri, who will introduce the speakers and start the presentation.
Good afternoon. My name is Omri Farragon. As Jerry mentioned, I'm the owner-operator of Storage Guardian. I'd like to introduce Richard Z, who represents Dropbox distribution. Storage Guardian has been a traditional backup disaster recovery vendor. Part of our migration to the cloud is to work as an independent software vendor. One of the large software vendors in the marketplace for cloud, of course, is Dropbox. And together, we're going to be talking about Storage Guardian's integration with Dropbox, and then how to grow your cloud services post-pandemic. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Richard G of Dropbox.
Thanks, Omri. Appreciate everybody's time today. Really excited to talk through kind of Dropbox for Business and the partnership that we have with Storage Guardian today. I think, unfortunately, our business product is a well-kept secret, which is an opportunity if you're a channel partner out there today to be able to add this in along with Storage Guardian as a great backup archive solution to protect that Dropbox environment. So what I'd like to do today is just kind of talk about what we're seeing in the market when it comes to cloud and productivity. We'll go into what the Dropbox environment looks like, and then we'll finish it out of our partnership with Storage Guardian. So going into industry trends. So if you look back to 1980, if you kind of look at the 5 major bubbles that we've gone through for technology, you kind of see this increased bell curve with productivity. So it starts with the PC, users are able to get access to content, and then you have the internet, the .com, where people are able to access it. And then, we kind of go into this mobile where users have access to data all the time. So no longer do you have to be in a VPN. As long as you have some kind of connection into a server, or email, or website, you're able to work on content. So all of these 3 kind of bubbles really increase productivity for the knowledge workers. Now you get to cloud, and there's thousands of different cloud providers out there today. You see this plateau. So what happens is, if you think about all the different apps that you have that you work on today, you probably have your email, you have maybe OneDrive, you have Google, you have Microsoft Office 365, you might have some other like CRM tools or Salesforce, or maybe you're leveraging Zoom or WebEx. Again, none of these really talk to each other. So what it's doing is it's causing confusion and disruption within the end user's workday. And that causes loss of productivity. So, what they're doing today is content is very siloed, it's very scattered, and users now have 5 to 9 apps open on their desktop working that don't communicate. So 26% of their time is actually just spending on where to put data, where to find data, and how do I collaborate with my team. So that's the industry challenges that we're seeing out there today. So, Dropbox's mission, if a lot of folks on the phone might know us as a free app where you can do file sync and share. We've really morphed into a content collaboration platform, a single pane of glass where all your apps can live and breathe. So now workers can work effectively in teams. So Dropbox is really fixing this. So, what we do is we kind of call it the pyramid of smart workspace. First, what are we trying to do? So, content is growing. It's becoming more scattered. You're interrupted constantly with chat and email and phone calls, and you're not working effectively. So how do we change that? We need a new platform to where we can be smart, organized, and be able to coordinate with teams. And this is really what the new Dropbox is going to look like. So this is the blueprint for the smart workspace. Really at the foundation, it's going to start with our open ecosystem. So whether you're using online apps like Dropbox Paper or e-signature tools out there today, it's going to plug into your desktop app. If you're leveraging productivity tools like Google, Office 365, Adobe, I can actually start those documents in the folder structure in the team that I should be working on that content with. I also can go into communication apps like Slack, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom without leaving Dropbox. And anything that happens in that will sync back to Dropbox. And then I have different coordination apps like Trello, where I can do workflow. And then, if they're, out in the field, if I need single sign-on like Okta or dual authentication, all that is out of the box. It's a click away. All you need is a subscription to that service. It'll integrate with Dropbox. Then you talk about content. So, content's growing. File types are not all the same. You might have 4 or 5 different file types. So what that's doing is if you're owning that content in one single source, it's a lot easier to secure, and it's a lot more effective how those users work. And then we have an AI piece to our technology. Think about this as a co-pilot. It's going to suggest different folders for upcoming meetings or different Slack channels that you're leveraging or Microsoft Teams. And then this is an example of our new desktop app. So this is somebody in a folder structure that's creating content. You're going to have on the left-hand side, you have your folder structures and different people that you can follow. And then security is really the foundation of our architecture. So we have a multi-layer. We do offer dual authentication. We meet SOC 1, 2, 3, 5 different ISO certs, PCI, and HIPAA. And the way that we store documents, everything's encrypted in transit and at rest with bank-level encryption. And because we have 500 million users today on our platform, we leverage our numbers to our advantage. So we actually break up the metadata from the block level data, separate them across different server farms, encrypt them, break them into these 4 meg chunks, and put a hashtag code over them. So now if you think about somebody trying to come into our data centers that are all US based, unless you need GDPR, which is going to be in Germany for us, they have 500 million users of these 4 meg chunks that are hashtagged that they got to try to puzzle piece together, both on the metadata side and the block level side. And then they've got to find the authentication piece to bring that to a download. So we make it very expensive for somebody to try to break into Dropbox and very cumbersome. We also have our 5-star rated from our privacy side by EFF. It's a non-for-profit that evaluates cloud providers' privacy statements. So we're industry leading from that side. So very secure, feel confident that your Dropbox environment is safe. So, I'll just kind of, finish up. I really encourage our partners to look at us as a good file server replacement solution, because we are organizing how the end user is working very effectively. But you as the admin are able to go in and create folder structures with restrictive permissionings. It's going to look a lot like their traditional file server environment. So the learning curve is a lot quicker. It's easier for you as the admin to manage. Now, if you're selling into compliance-driven companies, and really any company should be leveraging backups or have a secondary backup, this is where we really leverage Storage Guardian. So you think about legal and healthcare and finance, they need 7 years of document retention, and they need to be able to see every version. They also need to be able to audit those versions. So that's where this adds extra incentive for you as the partner, because now you're delivering the collaboration piece, but you're also helping secure that data and meeting that compliancy, which the fines for those can be very, very large. So, you think about these, 10 to 15 user dental labs or, secondary healthcare, they don't come from IT. They need a solution that's going to work for them. And then you as a partner can leverage us in Storage Guardian to really deliver an industry standard at an affordable cost while you're making a nice margin on it. So I'm going to hand it back over to Omri. Really appreciate your time. We'll make sure that our contact information is post-call. We can go into a deeper dive of what that Dropbox partnership looks like. Again, we're not asking you to buy Dropbox. You're able to go resell Dropbox and create a practice around it. Omri, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. That was great. We really appreciate that. Next on our agenda, I'd like to introduce you to Tal Tsur, who is the sales engineer, project manager at Storage Guardian, that has taken the Dropbox APIs and integrated it together with the Storage Guardian cloud to deliver a multi-generation retention policy to add more retention policies above and beyond what Dropbox for Business gives you. Go ahead, Tal. You're up to bat.
Thank you, Omri. Hey, hi, everyone. So, yeah, like we can start with the challenges like it says here. Lots of the challenges, one of the main ones with Dropbox is basically how long, like how far we can go back, right? So with Dropbox, it's 180 days. So maybe some of your customer needs a little bit higher retention policy, so we can do that for you. What we did, we built a customized solution, so you can basically even save it to the last 10 years if you need to. So that's regarding that. We're utilizing a reliable backup software, which is more intended to handle these kinds of volumes. So you can do a backup even every hour, once a day, once a week, once a month. It's very intuitive, so you can schedule it whatever you want. In terms of also location, like Richard said, so they're located in the US. What we can do for you in terms of the backup, we can actually store it in a different place, since when we are backing up, you can basically sending it off-site. So that's another solution for you if you need that. So let's start with the solution, our 6-file server migration best practices tips. So number one, if you're dealing with public sector, there are lots of regulations, lots of questions to be asked. One of them is, where is the information stored, right? So this is again going back to my point. So we can store it for you, in our data centers. We can also store it in a different location, which will comply with the government regulatory. Some of them also ask you to save the information for a longer period of time, which we can also comply with. So our solution basically complies with this regulations and requirement from public sector. Okay, as we mentioned, so how far back do you want the information to be saved? So you need a solution that will be intuitive and allow you to save it as required. So as we said, you can keep the information for a month, you can keep it for 6 months, you can keep it for 10 years. It really depends on what your customer need, and we can comply with that. And again, in terms of the retention policy, what you're getting in terms of the retention policy, will that be suffice? And we answer on that by saying, we're customizing the solution for you, so it basically depends on your customer needs, and we'll comply with that. One of the main things when you're backing off, so you have to keep the best practices, which is the 3-2-1 rule. Okay, so you keep 2 backups in different devices or medias, or one offsite, of course. So for us, if you have your information on Dropbox, that will be one, and offshore will be us. And of course, it's always good to save another one with a physical media or something. So when you migrate your information to Dropbox, it doesn't mean you have to drop the ball in terms of backing up your information. It's very important still to save your information since we're talking about businesses. So they want to have this solution, which is very nice and snappy. And they also want to make sure, because we are moving on to a nice new solution, we're not giving up on the backup side. So it's very important, to keep track on that and make sure the backup solution that you have also have the option to give you some rollback, which part of what our solution is doing. So let's say if you need to go back to 2-3 months ago and you need to restore a specific file, so you want this functionality also for your Dropbox. And in that case, it will mean that you're still keeping the functionality of a file server with having the proper backups. You're basically making it complete. So free versus paid Dropbox. The solution is, as it says, for Dropbox for Business. It is a requirement there, which we are only able to configure our solution with the Dropbox for Business, as it requires permissions and administration. What's better here? It's for you to say. Some benefit from having several members on Dropbox, and some benefit from everybody's using on the same thing. It really depends on best practice. The best practice for a business will be the business Dropbox, where each member has its own Dropbox, and you have all your shared folders, files, and of course, once you do that, everything has to be backed up as well. And also one thing I didn't mention on the last point. So one of the main thing here is if you use the free Dropbox and let's say your employee put the information of the company on his personal, so the data doesn't belong to you because it's his personal Dropbox, right? So you have to make sure you maintain that as well. As we said, in terms of best practices, especially in these times, so we want to make sure, that we have everything we need. So like we mentioned, so each member has its own Dropbox. Everything belongs to the company. Everything is synced. And of course, everything is backed up. And we make sure that regularly we're checking it and that the backup is working properly. And we have everything we need. We all set up with the retention policy, so we can make sure that in case of a disaster or something happens, we have a way to restore our information. So it's an opportunity here because our solution here is pretty unique. A lot of solutions might give you like partial backup. What we do here, you basically get a full backup as you would on a regular server or a virtualized server. You get all the benefits of a full-blown solution backup just for your Dropbox. And as we mentioned, you're basically putting it off-site. You can choose your own location. So there is a huge opportunity here. There are lots of Dropbox for business users that are not aware of this option to backup. And we do think that it is a good opportunity to start, especially in these times, making some awareness of your customers so you can get a good profit for that. And of course, you can get some more information in our link here, which will bring you some more information. You can utilize that. And of course, we'll be more than happy to jump on a call with you, show you our product, show how it works, and how easy it is to restore and back up. Okay, any questions from anyone?
Hi, Tal. Let me just see. So there was one question. Are these slides available or similar ones that can be client facing?
If I can take that, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple of different pieces of collateral that we can share with you how to deliver cloud services utilizing Dropbox and the extended retention for Dropbox, including rebranding some of the Storage Guardian collateral to help you leverage your brand name in front of your customers, including all the Storage Guardian stack. And and Richard can speak to his stack as well. Okay, from Dropbox point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you become a partner, it is free to join our program. We have a partner portal that has a ton of content. It's verticalized. You can co-brand it. It goes through use cases. These slides, we can send them post-call too. You're welcome to them. They are customer facing. But I would encourage, to reach out to Omri or myself and, let's set up a 30-minute call to learn about your business. And then we can create the marketing program that's going to fit kind of what you're expecting and the customers that you want to see.
Thank you. Question for Omri. Can you tell us a little bit more about the supporting marketing that Storage Guardian can provide?
Well, I think that the landscape of customer acquisition is going to change post-COVID, post-pandemic. What Storage Guardian can offer is a multi-tiered approach for customer acquisition where you're not going to have a face-to-face, which includes social media funnels, which basically means that we can help you with retargeting and looking up your prospective customers on large social media platforms such as Facebook and LinkedIn, and just be mindful, muscle memory on a monthly basis or a daily basis when they check their social media funnel, their social media feed, the offerings. So that's something the Storage Guardian has learned over the last couple of years, and we're here to help you drive your cloud revenue and share our successes with you, including the expensive, content and template utilizing your own brand. And so that's a good example. Richard and Dropbox and Storage Guardian, we have successfully leveraged in the past, for example, a lookalike campaign utilizing our own internal contacts with the 500 million users that Dropbox has to see who are Dropbox verified users. And I'll let Richard explain the way that works to help you identify prospective Dropbox customers. Go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, absolutely. So because we have 500 million users, we only have, well, I shouldn't say only, but we have 500,000 of those 500 million users on paying business teams. And that could range from a 10-user dental shop to, a very large tech company that has over 18,000 people that have leveraged Dropbox as their collaboration platform. So the advantage for our partners is, 80% of our free Dropbox usage is going into some kind of corporate domain. So we can pull domain analytics that will show you how many free users, what are their document types, how are they sharing, is it an internal share, is it external? So it gives you an idea that they are leveraging it for free. How do we get them the new messaging around the Dropbox business benefits? And that could be a really exciting lead because you go in as the thought leader and saying, hey, you're already leveraging this technology. Let's take it to the next level.
If I can speak to that, we ran this campaign with Richard and Dropbox. Within a week and a half, we closed our first law firm via partner in Atlanta, Georgia. it was, because we ran our social media funnels, we submitted prospective partners to Dropbox, and it was quite astounding how quickly we were able to land, managed service, customers leveraging both the Dropbox license, the Dropbox utilization, and as well as the extended retention, which we built around that. It was amazing. Thank you for that, Richard. Paying customers, getting them from free to paid is always a good thing, right?
Absolutely.
And we're here to work hand in hand with you as a managed service provider and teach you the tips and tricks on social media funnels, lookalike, from Dropbox into Facebook, something that we do on an ongoing basis, sort of like best practices behind the scenes, and then utilizing a sales funnel approach. It consistently drives, prospective suspects or opportunities to our sales team on a regular basis. I want to say every hour on the hour, but maybe every hour and a half. We're getting leads that we're generating from social media funnels that we're running, and it'll be our pleasure to share that with you, and drive revenue together using our content that we built out already for partners.
Thanks for that, Omri. At the moment, there is no further questions. So, Omri, if you'd like to close off the meeting.
Sure, I'd like to thank Richard taking your time out of your busy day to join us. Jerry and I and Tal are available to run demonstrations, show you how the extended retention works for Dropbox users. If you want me to show you inside Salesforce how we're able to isolate a prospect and give it to Richard and find that paying customer within a week and a half, will be my pleasure. It's no secrets. It was like somebody buried in my Salesforce database from 5 years ago. We had no idea that he was a Dropbox reseller. We'll show it to you in a go-to-meeting. Just reach out to Jerry or myself, and we'll demonstrate that for you. And once again, we really appreciate Richard taking your time out to help us out on these efforts.
Great. Thank you, Omri. So thanks, guys. This is Jerry O'Brien here. Thanks for attending. I will forward on a copy of the video later, and also our schedulers, so that you can book a time to discuss potential questions and next steps. Thanks, everyone. Have a good, there's one question come in. Thanks, Clint. Have a good one. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.